Applying to a university in Germany can seem confusing or even overwhelming. So in this video, I'll be taking you through the step-by-step process of applying from start to finish. My name is Ogena, and I make videos to help internationals navigate and settle into life in Germany. By now, I assume that you've already decided to study in Germany, or at least considering that option, and you already know by now that studying in Germany is tuition free. This doesn't mean that there are no costs. No. In most public universities, students pay what is called a semester contribution. This money is honestly nothing when you compare it to the amount of money that students have to pay for school fees in countries like the US, UK, and Canada. But financing is not what we're talking about in this video. Back to applying to universities. Before you can send out any application, you need to first decide which course and school you want to apply to. Now, how do you go about this? The German Academic Exchange Service, also known as DAAD, is the best place to start. With over 21,000 courses and over 2,000 of these courses taught in English, there's a plethora of options to choose from. So when people write to me to ask which school should I apply to in Germany, my answer is always there are over 400 universities across Germany, and it's impossible for me to know all of them. I probably can only name 10 at the most off the top of my head. So using this site is always your best bet. Of course, there are a few other sites as well that people can search for schools and courses in, but DAAD is definitely the number one pick. Start by typing daad.de on your web browser, and we'll just follow through with the process. So let's switch this to English because of course we don't want to get confused, and let's go to studying and researching abroad. Next thing, we want to go to universities, so universities and study program. Then we can scroll down to international programs because I'm assuming that you're an international student, and you can search here for the course that you want, and you can filter accordingly. So let's say, for example, I'm searching for architecture. And the course type, I say, for example, want to do a master's degree. For the language, I say I want to do it in English only, and then we can search. Already we can see that we have 58 results in this with our search criteria that we have done so far. We can also further refine, this search here. If, for example, you already know the specific city that you want to study in, you can already go here and you can already see the cities with the different schools. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just simply going to go to no fees because we're trying to go to public schools that don't pay tuition. Like I said, without tuition, of course, but you're going to be paying a semester contribution. So I can simply go through each of these schools to then look at what it is I'm looking for, what they offer, what I have based on their requirements. And this brings us to choosing the school that you want to study in. Choosing a school is not the easiest decision to make, but it is the most important one. So you want to take your time in making this decision. And in doing this, you want to ask yourself what the most important thing is for you. You should weigh the pros and cons of the city where the university is located. Now, as a rule of thumb, you should know that bigger cities come with more expenses in terms of living costs, accommodation, things like that. However, you have more opportunities, job opportunities, networking opportunities. You can meet more people, of course, but in a smaller city, cost of living is a lot lower. However, opportunities are a lot less. So if you live in a big city, for example, chances of getting a part-time job or a mini job or a student job is a little bit higher than it is when you are doing that in a small city. This is not cast in stone, of course. Sometimes there are some outlier situations. So but as a rule of thumb, this is what happens. If you're in a smaller city as well, let's say in a small village, you might find it difficult to find certain kinds of job if, for example, you don't speak the language fluently. So you might want to weigh these options and see what's most important to you. Do you want to save money, or do you want to be in the midst of what's going on? There can be a middle ground though, and that is a small city in close proximity to bigger cities. So, for example, Wuppertal. In Wuppertal, this cost of living is not so high, like, for example, Köln. Now, Köln is not too far away from Wuppertal. Dusseldorf is not too far away from Wuppertal. Essen, Bonn, they are in close proximity to this city. Now, a student in Wuppertal can very easily find jobs in these surrounding cities, or a student in Wuppertal is in close proximity to opportunities that are available in the bigger cities. So I hope this makes sense. Now, some people worry about university ranking, in a bigger city. They imagine that the schools in the bigger cities or in a specific city is much better than the school in another city. Don't worry yourself about university ranking, because here in Germany, the standard of education across board is excellent. Besides, when you go to look for a job, people are not really concerned about what university you went to. As long as you can deliver on the job, you are good. Before we start talking about the documents that you need, let's talk about restrictions. If you are from an EU country, then the procedure is pretty straightforward. However, if you're from a non-EU country, then it's a different story. For example, application deadlines are different for non-EU students. The deadlines are a lot earlier, so pay attention to this. When applying for a bachelor's degree, most students are required to first take a prep course, what is known here as student colleague, after which they'll take an entrance examination. There are also language restrictions. Now, while there are thousands of courses that are taught in English, German still remains the language of the country, so there are a lot more courses that are taught in German. So, if you want to study in Germany in a course that is taught in German, then you have to provide proof of language proficiency in German. But thankfully, you don't have to study in German. There are lots of courses that are taught in English. However, you still need to prove this English anyway. But that shouldn't be a big deal. Certain courses like medicine, nursing, or law are only taught in German, so there's no way around this. You have to learn German. Some courses also have very limited spots for students per session. For example, architecture or medicine. This is because there's a specific student-professor ratio that cannot be exceeded, since direct mentoring or consultation is much more required for these courses. Now, what documents do you need? In general, most schools will ask you for your passport bio page, a passport photograph, your CV, a motivational letter, your transcript, and proof of language proficiency. Depending on the school, you might be required to send additional documents. So, for example, for design students, you might be asked to send a portfolio of works, and so on and so forth. Next thing, how do you certify your documents? There are two ways to certify your documents. Number one is to make photocopies of your documents, take them alongside the original copies to a German embassy in your country. There you can do the certification of your documents. They will be certifying the photocopies of the documents, not the original. So be sure that you have the photocopy with you, not just the original. Number two way is to take this photocopy to a court and it can be certified there. That's the way I did mine. I took my documents to a court and there it was certified for me. If you haven't given this video a thumbs up, this would be a good time to do so. And if you have found this useful so far, please do well to share the video as well and subscribe for more content like this. Now, how do you send your application? Okay, now you know the course you want to study, the school you want to study in, you know that you meet the requirements, you have put together your documents, and you have certified these documents. Now let's send out the application. For international students, there are two ways to send in your application. The first is by sending it directly to the university through DHL, for example, or FedEx. So you put together all the required documents, you fill in the application form, of course, which will be on the school website, and you can send it directly to the school. There will be an address that you can send that to. The second way, which is what most schools use, is to apply through uni-assist. Uni-assist is like the middleman between the German universities and you. And through uni-assist, you can make multiple applications at a time without having to send your documents multiple times. Of course, uni-assist is not free, so there's a cost for these applications. It costs 75 euros for your first application and an additional 30 euros if you are making multiple applications. So 30 euros for each extra application that you are making. My advice is to apply to as many schools as possible. Bear in mind that so many students are applying to these schools from all over the world. So increase your chances by applying to multiple schools at the same time. No matter the means of application, deadlines are very important, so pay close attention to this. If you're applying directly to the school, your documents need to get to the school before that deadline. This means that you should put into consideration the time it will take for these documents to move from your country to Germany. So put that time frame into consideration and ensure that you're sending out your documents very early. However, if you're applying through uni-assist, you need to ensure that your documents get to uni-assist 8 weeks before your application deadline. This is because uni-assist first need to do their own part of the work before getting in touch with your school, which will do their own part of the work as well. So ensure that you are keeping in mind these application deadlines. As a reminder, don't send your original copies. This is the reason why you certify those photocopies previously. So ensure that you are only sending the photocopies of your document. Let's say, for example, I want to do this. So this is what I studied for my master's, and I'll simply go through here. I can see everything that pertains to this course. I can see, okay, it's in collaboration with this school. It's taught in English. It's full-time. It's 4 semesters. The winter semester is the only semester available for this course. So pay attention to these things. Some schools have both winter and summer semester. These semesters, this beginning will influence the deadlines that you need to pay attention to. So you can see all of this. Now you can go to the course detail and you can go through the course detail one after the other. You can see what is offered, blah, 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 blah. Then you can go to cost and funding. You can see that the semester contribution is 131 euro 50 cents per semester. Actually, this is a lot more now. When I was here, it was 95 euro per semester. I think this school is the cheapest school I've ever seen. It's super, super cheap. No school is this cheap. So, okay, that's why there's really no additional funding, because the cost for this school is super, super, super cheap. Next thing is the requirements. So you need to go through this requirement. You see that they've asked you to go to the website to see the school's requirements. So I'm going here to this one. I don't know, this is the course here. So you can see what they're asking for, all the things they're asking for: your passport, your first you fill the form, of course, the application form. So you download this, you fill it, and it's part of documents you'll be sending to them. Your biodata page, you would send that, your certified copies of your degree, your bachelor's degree, which is what we have done before. We've put together your documents, we're going to certify them, so you have it already. Your proof of English language, so here TOEFL, IELTS works. You write your motivation letter. Why do you want to do this course? Convince them why they should give you an opportunity to study this course. Like I said before, a lot of people are trying to apply to these schools, and for example, for some courses, which in this case this falls under like fields in architecture and things like that, positions are limited, so you need to sell yourself properly. Then you need to put together your portfolio of works or papers that you have written, and all that. Portfolio is super important. Not everybody might have papers, but your portfolio, you have to have it. Then your CV and a certified copy of your entrance university qualification. So this would be your your WAEC certificate. So these are your documents they expect you to send to them. So bear that in mind. Now let's go back, and we can see application deadline. I told you previously to pay attention to application deadline. Online applications are possible between 1st of March and 1st of May. So your documents should get to them within this time frame. Now, For this school, they want you to apply directly. So you have to send the application to them directly. Things have really changed. So now it's only online applications, which is really great. So you just need to go there and see the online application. You need to just follow the, so this is online application. You can follow the process. Before, when I was applying, it was only hard copy. So you had to apply um physically. You had to send the documents there physically. So this is really, really cool. So online application. So you go to the online application. Let's just reject it. I don't want this. And you would follow the steps as they guide you. Everything is usually pretty straightforward. If it's in German, simply translate it to English and you can follow what they're telling you. So we're delighted to have you chosen a part-time, blah, 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 blah. This is an example of, let's say, a course that you're trying to apply to. I'm not trying to apply to part-time, no. Let me go back. I'm trying to go to, if you're interested in studying, I would like to apply for a place. Okay, this is applicant. Sorry, not, this is, I went to the wrong place before. This is why you need to pay attention to everything. Because I just saw online application, I just clicked on it. No, so let's go to this. And then it's a register for the online application, register here, blah, 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 blah. For summer semester, winter semester, it's just to go here. So simply follow the steps. Everything is always very straightforward. Okay, then you can see that here there are services that are available for you. So accommodation, for example, this site will take you to where you look for accommodation, but that's when you've gotten the admission anyway. For now, you don't need to start looking for an accommodation until you get the admission. So you see that the process really is straightforward. If you're applying through uni-assist, simply go to the uni-assist website, create an account, fill in the application form, upload your documents, pay the fees, and submit. It's pretty straightforward. After this, it's then a waiting game. You have to wait until you are contacted with an admission letter or a rejection, as the case may be. I hope it's not a rejection for you. I hope you get that admission because, I'm rooting for you. I hope this video has been helpful. Until I see you next time, do have a fantastic day. Bye.